Now this is fine arts at its best. God-given gift of arts. Created by Mike Scoobes Ruby. Selling between $10,000 to $20,000 a piece. According to your taste and palate. If you have any kind of insight toward the fine arts, you'll enjoy these in your home to just adore. Please. These are God-given gifts of talent for the gifts of fine art. I've been known for that. Please understand that these are not only pictures, they're God-given gifts of art, fine arts. Must I say more? It's all here for the making, for the taking of $10,000 to $20,000 a piece. That's cheap, priceless art. Well, you decide. Anytime's a good time to buy Mike Ruby's art.
Drugs go. I think that if you want to use drugs, terrific. Just don't become a liability to the society, or don't put yourself in a position which, under the influence of drugs, you could hurt somebody else because you're so fucking out of it that you couldn't handle yourself. That's what I got against drugs. That's what I'm here to say. Very little. Because there's not too much which is released commercially that interests me, and I also have a very small amount of recreational listening time.
Will we ever see baby snakes?
The problem with baby snakes is simply this. A lot of people have said,
You're
sure,
listening to Frank Zappa!
Distribute it, but nobody wants to give me any money. And since I spent all my own money to make this film, I take a very dim view of people doing me those kinds of favors. Dweezil is playing the guitar like you wouldn't believe. He's been playing for... Oh, I'll tell you in just a second. Let me answer this guy's question. Dweezil is playing guitar really fantastic. And he's having trouble finding kids his own age to play with him because he's so good. What?
Has created success gone to her head?
No, as a matter of fact, her most recent pronouncement around the house was, I'm sick of this stuff. I want to get a job. And I told her, to that I replied, you must be crazy. And, well, wait, let me answer his question up there about the tour. The tour is going to start around July 15th. Rehearsals start tomorrow. And we'll be out until the first of the year. And I don't know when we're going to be in the Bay Area. Okay, I'm not using percussion. I'm taking a rhythm and blues band out on the road. And the band is Napoleon Murphy.
Let's hear about the art now.
Tenor sax and vocals, Ike Willis, Ray White, Scott Tunis on bass, Chad Wackerman on drums, and Bobby Martin on keyboards and screaming vocals. And we're looking for one more keyboard player who is incredibly proficient and who can also sing rhythm and blues falsetto like Frankie Valli. So if you know anybody, auditions are still going on for the next week. The first box of the 35 record set, which is 7 discs in a box, which has Freak Out, Absolutely Free, Lumpy Gravy, Rolling It for the Money, and Ruben and the Jets, plus the mystery disc of unreleased material from that era, will be available very soon because we just made a distribution deal with MCA for the product. No, it's not. It's going to be in a box, and it's going to have a booklet in the box with whatever pictorial material I can stick in there. But basically, it's a box full of records.
You want to talk about the other records that are coming out?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to play one example from that box. The show is going to start off with that in just a few seconds with an excerpt from the digitally remastered Lumpy Gravy. The other material that's going to be released, this will all come out at the same time. There's a new rock and roll album called Them or Us, which it's a 2-record set. Then there's a 3-record box called Thing Fish, which is the original soundtrack recording for the Broadway musical that I wrote. A single disc of the music of Francesco Zappa, which we'll hear a little bit later. And the first installment of the multi-record set. And on Angel, in about 2 months, they're releasing the album that was conducted by Pierre Boulez, that was recorded in January. So that's a lot of stuff. It's all going to be coming out at once. So if you like what you hear today, there's a lot more of it on the way.
Frank, what have you got in the works as far as new films or film releases, or have you been working up with anybody screening-wise, screen script, or anything else?
Well, I've got an idea for a video that I want to do. A song called "Be in My Video," which has it has all of the cliches that you're so accustomed to from MTV. It has the lips, it has the girl's legs as she gets out of the car, it has the midgets, it has the Venetian blind, the atomic explosion, it has doves, it has a girl in a white dress twirling around in a lap dissolve. It has a person who pretends to be Chinese and has a pair of red shoes. It's got everything that you always wanted to see. And I've asked John Carpenter to direct it, and I should know by Tuesday whether or not he'll go through with that. Okay, can we start the music now? That'd be all right. Let me tell you what you're going to hear. This first section we're going to play, I guess, is about 18 minutes long, and the selections are parts of the digitally remastered Lumpy Gravy, the first movement of Mo and Herb's Vacation with the London Symphony Orchestra, David Ocker, clarinet soloist,
Ken Nagano conducting.
and Kent Nagano conducting, and then after that is Love Story, which is a piece done on the synclavier, and it's from the album, the Boulez album. Then after that is Naval Aviation and Art, with Boulez conducting the Ensemble Intercontemporain, 27 pieces. And then after that, The Girl in the Magnesium Dress, a synclavier piece, also from that album. And then the last piece of that set is Jonestown, another synclavier piece, and also from that album. Listen closely in Jonestown for the banging on the Kool-Aid tub in the distance. All right, ready? Thank you.
Frank, could you tell us what the synclavier is and what it does and what you've done to alter the instrument?
A synclavier is an electronic musical instrument that has a computer hooked up to it. It's a digital synthesizer. And the system that I have isn't even a complete one. I only have a 24-voice system. Currently they go up to a 32-voice system. And I have a 20-meg Winchester hard disk storage along with it. And we have some special software that was written at the Utility Muffin Research Kitchen to use in conjunction with the synclavier. One of these programs is called the Swap and Retro Tweezer. And the other one is called the List Twister. It's a little hard to explain what those programs do unless you already understand what the synclavier does. And I'm afraid that would lead us into a technical discussion that would go on too long and probably put everybody to sleep. But let's just say that if you have a synclavier and you want to do some weird stuff with it and want to buy some software, each program is $800 and they'll do some strange things. Other than that, forget about that.
Mo and Herb's Vacation was recorded. It's available on disc, but the mix that we heard was a different one. Maybe you should tell us about that.
Yeah, I decided to remix all the stuff on the London Symphony album. Yeah, the reason that it does is because I was the engineer on the first one, and there's no way that I'll ever be able to mix as good as Bob Stone. And I was going for a completely different because Bob had hepatitis when the mix was done. He couldn't do it. But what I tried to do on the first mix of the London Symphony album was to bring out details by moving the faders up and making things happen that you couldn't get acoustically.
Everything there is to know about nonlinear time. In your cauldron, you have seen the fluorescent Lich and Eddie. They are standing on a fake stage in Pinewood Studios during the filming of 200 Motels in the year 1970. You are there too. Your name is Rance Muhammad. You are supposed to be the devil, and your wife used to be a censor at NBC. You are about to entice the fat boys with my very own personal mystery burger, after which Ringo's chauffeur will eat it without having to pay you for it. You have located the wrong burger. Look in there again and find me another one. I'm going to be late for work. This is exceedingly unusual, Mr. Whoremonger. When I look in the pot and do the mumbo-jumbo, I only report to you what I see. I say rhymes and so forth, but they mean nothing to me. Nonlinear time is a concept to which I am not accustomed. Nonlinear time is the clock and the calendar of all of the arts, even the blacker ones. Now that you mention it, I myself have dabbled a bit in a wholesome form of Yiddish alchemy. Of course you have, you're a retailer. The rest of the concept should be fairly simple to grasp. Time does not go from here to there or from then to now. Everything is happening all of the time. It always has, it always will. Ignorant men have compartmentalized it in a pathetic attempt to meet imaginary marketing deadlines. But time is one big lump of stuff, and one time is equal to any other time. Every obscure Italian composer knows this. Surely this is not a thing which could be proven? Look, you're watching Channel 9, right? There's always something else on a Channel 5. This is not a good night for the kosher food industry. I see big trouble in the pot. Strange things in the future. You are a retail romantic. Strangeness is nothing to fear. Ugliness is normal. Danger is stupid. Fear is boring. The future has already happened. People live and die like the chickens in the back of your wagon. The things I see disturb me greatly. It's because of your overhead. You need to get out of the wagon for a while. I got a terrific idea. Let's go to the New World. America? They're getting ready to have a revolution over there. They got Indians. The Indians got smallpox from the blankets the British gave them for Christmas. People sleep in beds with wooden boards down the middle so nothing can happen. Are you crazy? I'll stay in the wagon. What you say is true. I have no interest in visiting a place where such obstacles are placed in the path of recreation. However, in 214 years, the boards will have been removed. Small wheels will have been installed on the bottom of them, and incredibly stupid girls with earphones on named Debbie will ride them all over the place in Santa Monica. The holy city! Yes, but I do not suggest we visit there. Such women lack the mental capacity for involuntary contraction of vaginal muscles. And when they blow, they don't swallow. Far better than we go to New York. A guy like you could do real good there. New York? They're calling it New Amsterdam now, but in a few years, a bunch of guys like the Duke of York will show up and open a disco called the Xenon. They'll meet fascinating people like themselves there and accidentally reproduce. The ones who can't will have their photos taken with the Brooke Shields. It's a terrific place, you'll love it. I get seasick. I could never stand the boat ride. Look, Butcher, what's your name, buddy? Shemp. Shemp, terrific. Look, Shemp, concentrate. We are not going on a boat. Because we are not going to New Amsterdam 1770, we are going to New York 1984. This is ridiculous. It can't be done. Simply can't be done. Are you not a Yiddish alchemist specializing in the retail field? Obviously. And what does every alchemist do when nobody is looking? He boils a bunch of crap looking for the secret of the philosopher's stone, right? Everybody knows that. Certainly, Shemp, but what kind of a stone does a Yiddish retail alchemist look for? You bastard, you've done it all along. The philosopher's incredibly realistic simulated diamond, curse you. You crafty little vagrant kosher butcher, you've got one into the pot there. And you've used it to travel in non-linear time already. How else could you have known about the holy city? This is terrible, terrible. A whoremonger knows my secret. What will I do? Shemp, stop beating on yourself like that. They got all kinds of guys in New York that'll do it for you. Get the fake diamond and rob the son of a bitch or whatever you do, and let's get the fuck out of here. I won't do it. You can't convince me to go again. I knew it. You didn't get laid the first time, and that created a negative attitude toward the metropolitan area. It was awful. Yellow vehicles traveling at great speed in the middle of the night over badly maintained roads. Noise, horrible noise. Ugh, and my hemorrhoids every time there was a bump, spots on my trousers. It was God's perfect hell. I'll make you a deal. We go back right now, and I'll get us a couple of tickets to Fiddler on the Roof. The curtains close on the puppet stage. Another of Francesco's computerized string trios, this time with disco drums added, plays in the background. Francesco rotates the puppet stage 180 degrees to a view of another proscenium with new wave decor. As soon as it's in place, the curtain opens again to reveal Shemp, carrying the pot with the philosopher's incredibly realistic simulated diamond. In New York, summer 1984, strolling through the heart of the theater district just before 8 p.m. Tiny theatergoers are rushing all around him. A deal is a deal. You promised me tickets. We come all this way and there's no Fiddler on the Roof. I'm rubbing it and we're going back again. I hate this place. True, are these people rare that they think they're going? So, I made a mistake. Everybody knows there's only safe investment remakes and the revivals on Broadway in 1984. It's the only sort of entertainment permitted during corrupt Republican administrations. They must be suppressing a Fiddler on the Roof because of the disproportionately small quantity of non-Jewish characters in the story, as part of the president's newly mandated year of the Bible. Guys like him don't appreciate musicals full of ignorant Russian Christ killers twirl dancing near the biggest eye. The first time I came to this place, it was freezing cold and there was garbage everywhere. Rats were running by my feet. Everybody looked dangerous. And now the weather's pretty good. The garbage is being made into health food. The rats have a new video on MTV. And everybody looks like they're scared shitless to say what's really on their minds. Yeah. The backdrop, which is a scroll showing marquee after marquee of safe investment rerun productions, finally arrives at its end. A curiously proportioned, obviously imaginary theater advertising Thingfish, a musical production by Frank Zappa. What? How can this be? A theatrical work by an Italian composer even more obscure than myself? He's not even in the dictionary, the lucky bastard. Obviously one of the Sicilians. Chef, we are indeed fortunate. Let's go in and enjoy ourselves. He's a Zappa. He'll probably have lots of nice, happy little Dago-sounding string trios all over the place. I can't stand happy little Dago-sounding string trios.
I like only clarinets, tamarines, accordions, and gilt. Look at this poster. This person has a head like a potato, lips like a duck, and is dressed in some perverse form of medieval religious costumery. There is nothing cheerful about it. It's actually very ugly. It is obvious that these Sicilians take a different approach to things. Chimp, he must see this potato creature. I'm having it. I'm going back. Onions are better. Always better. I'm going back.
Listen to this.
He walks away rubbing the pot, leaving Francesco alone in front of the theater. Big deal. Go eat an onion out in back of the wagon. What do you know from excitement? Exactly nothing. A robot, Frank Zappa, as imagined by the editor of a famous rock and roll magazine, emerges from the Thingfish Theater and creaks over to Francesco. I am pleased to see you're so punctual, Francesco. You know my name? Yes, but not much more. I made up the rest. What do you mean? What have you made up? Are you the little devil that stuck me in this fucking dictionary exposing my bunghole for all eternity to the ravages of academia? Most certainly not. You may be assured that I have no connection whatsoever to the infernal machinery of the American educational establishment. I am Frank Zappa, as imagined by the editor of a famous rock and roll magazine. I am an anachronism who makes the ugliest music on the planet. I have no right to call myself a member of the human race.
Keep listening.
I am tasteless, untalented, pompous, arrogant, cruel,
Zappa!
insensitive, vulgar, and not a fun guy because I don't use drugs. Mean kid. You never fucked the Duke of York's girlfriend. He would have had you horsewhipped. You never met a kosher alchemist. You only wrote happy little dago-sounding string trios and had a dull, boring life playing the cello and kissing ass to Baroque period ticket buyers. I don't seem to remember it that way at all. Are you sure? For centuries I've been convinced that I was imagining myself. No, it is your great misfortune to have me doing it for you. Why a misfortune? In spite of your metallic complexion, you do appear to be some sort of a Zappa. I'll bet there's a happy little dago-sounding string trio stuffed away in there someplace. All things are possible through concentrated technological ignorance. You're not a very cheerful person, are you? I'm not a person at all. My disposition was manufactured for me in an office in Northern California. Surely that in itself is not a sufficient excuse for an outlook as hostile as the one you display. I'm beginning to resent being related to you. This is America, 1984. There will be no problem providing you with an entire phone book full of corruptible scholars eager to alter the appropriate textbooks for a guarantee of tenure and a gift certificate from Tweeds R Us. Why the fuck would somebody bother to invent something as wretched as you? My God, you're a hateful creature. I'm such a terrific guy. How could you have invented me? I am pure fiction. I am the product of the imaginations of legions of tiny, hateful people. May they burn forever in God's perfect hell, or move to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. What? Never mind. So now that you finally arrived, I have big plans for you. You presume a great deal. Why should I choose to involve myself in these disgusting plans of yours? Because, just as you suspect the presence of a cleverly concealed happy little dago-sounding string trio somewhere in me, I suspect the presence of a potentially deranged musical mentality lurking somewhere in you. It is my duty to unleash this horrible force, send you back where you came from, and allow you to pollute the musical atmosphere of that wretchedly wimpus period into which you were born. This is truly perverse. What you are suggesting simply reeks of obscurity. Congratulations. What a fiendishly original idea. Frank Zappa, as imagined by the editor of the famous rock and roll magazine, has never had any original ideas. Since what he does is trivial and irrelevant to the American way of life, their absence pleases everyone. Well, somebody had to dream this thing up. Are you trying to tell me there's another one hiding out someplace? Of course, you fool. It would be very amusing for you to meet him. Everyone tells me he's a sick motherfucker who hates everything except sex and music, but he never leaves his laboratory. Hey, no, he sounds like an okay guy. Let's go. I said it might be amusing for you to meet him. I do not say it was possible for you to meet him. What's the problem? We just grab a bottle of wine and drop in on him. You are speaking of a person who is so obscure as to require an improved definition of the clinical terminology. No one ever sees him. Most are convinced he cannot possibly exist. He does, doesn't he? I have been invented by legions of tiny hateful people. I know only what they know.
Good. Thanks. I'm really glad I got a chance to do this. Never done one of these before. It was really a lot of fun. New career. And I want to thank Calvin, because I think he did a great job on Francesco. And thanks to Charles for asking me to do it in the first place. And thanks to you guys for showing up. Good night.
I'm just another crazy Italian in the Walmart frozen food section.